Hi, this is Bilanich, the Common Sense Guy. And this year I'm celebrating 25 years in business as a career success coach. For 25 years I've been helping people just like you create the life and career success that they want and deserve. To celebrate, I've gathered my 25 best tips on what it takes to create your life and career success and shot 25 videos to help you be able to create your life and career success. This is one of them. Enjoy. Once you set your brand, you have to live it consistently and constantly. In a previous video, I talked about the whole notion that you have to have a brand is getting people to think of you like you want them to, and then consistently and constantly acting that way. Well, the second part of it is a little more difficult than figuring out how you want people to think of you. So let me give you an example of how I do it. You know, my brand is the Common Sense Guy. So here's the way I try to consistently and constantly live it. I blog. When I blog, I don't get into very esoteric kind of subjects. I try to present things in a very straightforward manner that's very actionable, and that if you read one of my blog posts, hopefully you know what you can do immediately to put that idea to work. That's common sense. It's the same thing with the books that I write. I hope it's the same thing in these videos that you're watching, that you're seeing what's coming through are usable ideas that a lot of times that you might say, well, hey, that's just common sense. And to me, that's actually a big compliment, because when you say to me, that's just common sense, I know that I'm living my brand. Now, the other part of my brand, the second part of it, is Guy. And you know, it's very interesting. When I was putting my brand together, I had a bit of a hard time coming up with that word. I like the concept of common sense because that really is me. But then I was trying to say, well, what do I want to be? Common sense doc or doctor? Because yeah, I do have my PhD. And then I said, well, that's a little pretentious. That doesn't sound like me. And besides that, people might confuse it with a medical doctor. So I threw that away. Common sense guru. I said, well, that's really pretentious. And people might think that I sit around all day in pyramids with crystals. So I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine one day about this. And I said, you know, I'm having a hard time putting the last word to this. And I said, you know, after all, I'm just a guy. I'm just a normal person. And she said, well, what's wrong with Common Sense Guy? And I thought about it for a second. And I said, you know, that captures me. Because when you deal with me, you're dealing with just a normal person, a guy, somebody you might want to have a beer with, or somebody you might want to go to a ball game with. And I think that that's an important piece for me, because Common Sense Guy is something that it's easy for me to live consistently and constantly, because that's who I am. And it's what I want to reinforce with people. I don't want people to think of me as an egghead, somebody who's aloof or whatever. I want people to think of me as somebody who can give them good, solid advice that they can use immediately, and do it in such a way that they feel comfortable in interacting with me. So that's how I try to live my brand. And so I think what you need to do is, once you figure out what your brand is to figure out what you can do on a daily basis to consistently and constantly act in a manner that's consistent with it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that short video, and I hope you'll find it be helpful to you as you go about creating your life and career success. As I mentioned at the beginning, I've shot 25 of these videos, and I want to give them to you. All you have to do is go to the website that you see on the bottom of the screen, enter your name and email address, and I'll send these videos right over to you. It's my way of celebrating my 25 years in business and helping you create the life and career success that you want and deserve.